my name is Maria Montoya. I'm a third-year animal science major, and I'm in the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences.
My name's Ashley. I'm a fourth-year aerospace and mechanical engineering double major in the College of Engineering.
My name's Lauren. I'm a fourth-year psychology major in the College of Letters and Science.
And hi there, I'm Robert. I am a fourth-year genetics major within the College of Biological Sciences.
So I'm going to get started. Like I said, I'm from the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. So our college, we are #1 in the world right now for agricultural studies, especially in the fields of agriculture and forestry. We are the 7th among public universities, and we do a lot of research within agriculture as well as environmental studies and human studies. So our first sector of the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences is the agricultural sciences. So these include all of our majors from animal biology to animal science to entomology, anything that is very agricultural based. Our next division is our environmental sciences division. Those include majors like environmental policy and analysis planning, as well as other majors that really go more into the environmental science division. And our last division that's not in our name is our human sciences division. So a lot of these majors you might not think are in the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, but they actually are. So our clinical nutrition majors in this division, our human development major, our textiles and clothing major, and as well as we have an undeclared major. So that allows students to come into our college and pretty much take whatever classes they want and really just choose their major instead of declaring right away when they come into college. So the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences is really great because we have over 10 different animal science facilities as well as environmental facilities on campus that really allow students to get into research and to get in their hands-on experience and really find their passions. We have everything from a dairy to a horse barn, to a beef barn, to we have an aquaculture center, we have a honeybee colony that we work with Haagen-Dazs with, and these are just some of the opportunities that we give our students.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the College of Engineering. We were established in 1962, and we're one of the largest undergraduate engineering programs in the University of California system. And we continue to rank highly among public schools in engineering. Here at Davis, we promote the teamwork approach. Many of our professors encourage students to work in groups, study with each other, work on homework together. As students, we have a really close relationship with our professors and our teaching assistants. And the College of Engineering provides a lot of study spaces that really promote this teamwork idea. They have computers and big workstations for students to always have a place to work together. As far as study time, engineering classes take a lot of studying. We recommend 2 to 3 hours of studying for each hour of lecture, plus additional hours of study for discussions and labs. Which normally adds up to somewhere between 50 and 60 hours a week of class and study time for engineers. So it's really, really important that we manage our time carefully so that we can still be involved in all the other campus activities that are here at UC Davis. Now we have 11 undergraduate programs, and these range all of the typical engineering disciplines, from aerospace and mechanical to computer, civil, and then several biological engineering programs. And some of the reasons that we think you should come to Davis for engineering is, one, there's a lot of opportunities for engineering students here. There's several industry opportunities in the area where a lot of students can get internships or work while they're in school. Our professors are also really open to having the engineering students in their labs so we can get some of that hands-on experience. We have lots of research facilities that students have access to. Our students usually find it pretty easy to get a job in industry after graduation. Many students have internships while they're here, and then they go on to work full-time after they graduate. We have excellent advising resources. In the College of Engineering, you're actually assigned a specific advisor for your major, and you're required to meet with them at least once a year. So we definitely make sure that you have access to lots of advising and support. And Davis is a nice college town, which we really love. And probably most importantly is our graduates have really liked the experience here in the College of Engineering, and I think that's probably because of our really cooperative nature that we promote in the College of Engineering here.
Great. So one of the main reasons that I came to Davis was because of the College of Biological Sciences. This is special because there's very, very few universities in the United States that have a College of Biological Sciences, and I truly believe that we have the best one. And because it is because we actually have a College of Biological Sciences and not just a department, we can offer a wide range of biology majors, anywhere from the smallest units of life, biochemistry, molecular biology, to microbiology, to evolution ecology. Our most popular major is just general biological sciences, which is a comprehensive look at the entirety of biological sciences, while offering students a chance to specialize in something interesting like marine biology or medical microbiology, or programs like that you can't really find at other universities. So what makes the college so good is that there's a huge emphasis on hands-on learning. With just the introductory biology classes, you're dipping your hands into tanks and you're pulling out aquatic animals. You're going into the field and you're learning how to sample plants and stuff like that. And that's your very first quarters at Davis. As you get into the more advanced classes, the labs are phenomenal. There really are paradigms for what a college lab class should be, and it's respected all over the United States. And in those lab classes, you'll learn everything that you would need to know in industry or in academia and stuff like that. The faculty are all leaders in their fields, but what's cool is that they don't just love doing biology, they love teaching biology. They're very enthusiastic, they want to see you succeed, and they'll do what that takes. The research, I don't have to tell you that the research here is incredible. It's a huge research university. It's one of the best in the world. But what's really cool is that the undergraduates here, in any college, but especially the College of Biological Sciences, can be a part of any of the research going on here. The undergraduates are actually encouraged to publish their research if they can and be as creative with it as they want. And then finally, involvement. I'm not even talking about how involved the students are, but how involved the school is with us. We have a huge biology academic success center, which is open to every biology major to make sure they have the tools and resources for success. Every floor of the science lab building has a biology learning center where you can access all your labs from the past few weeks and meet one-on-one with the professors for the most part of the day. And then the classes themselves are, you actually have classes tailored towards biology and making it relevant. So you don't have to take calculus with the engineers. You can take calculus for biology and medicine. You don't have to take physics with the math majors. You can take physics for life sciences. And so that's one of the reasons that we all really enjoy our experience at Davis in the College of Bio. The facilities are some of the best that you'll ever find in the world. You have the first picture is the UC Davis Genome Center, which is the genetic powerhouse of the West Coast. Right next to it, where you see some rhesus monkeys playing on a playground, that is the California Primate Center. There's only 6 of those in the United States, and we have one of the best. And then that institute near the ocean is the Bodega Marine Lab, where you can take a whole quarter off, either during the school year or in the summer, and you can really get out into the ocean and see these things as they really are in nature. And our students, our students go on to do incredible things, and you can see them already doing awesome stuff while they're at school. The first picture is the students throw a pre-medical conference, which is the biggest pre-medical conference in the nation. We have biology teams that compete across the United States. Davis actually hosts its own research conference. I mentioned that it encourages students to pursue their own research. Davis actually has a venue that they can present it as they would in an actual academic career. And then we have the biology majors love giving back, and they go to the local K-12 schools and do science experiments. It really is a great experience and something that I've never ever regretted. That's it.
Okay, that's me.
So once again, my name's Lauren. I'm from the College of Letters and Science. Our college is a bit different than the other three that I've talked today in the sense that the Letters and Science College is the largest college in UC Davis. We have 10,000 undergrads, and we have over 50 majors. So we're kind of this large, group that has a bunch of different diverse majors that range through things in physical sciences and math, social sciences, humanities, arts, and cultural studies. So we're not just in one area of focus, so we have this huge variety. For example, in the social sciences, a lot of our popular majors are anthropology and communication. Psychology is also a very popular one as well, and international relations. Within the Department of Math and Physical Sciences, we have a bunch of harder sciences, so chemistry and geology, physics, stats, and it's kind of a unique way of having those hard sciences present in our college, but then also having these elements of the humanities and the social sciences as well. For example, within the social sciences and within the math and physical sciences, you are able to get a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Arts in some of the majors. For example, psychology is one of them. I'm getting a Bachelor of Science in psychology, but you can also get a Bachelor of Arts, and that stands for geology and anthropology and a few other majors as well. So that's interesting and kind of a unique aspect that we offer is because, so if you enjoy those hard sciences, but you also love the humanities and the social sciences, you can kind of take a sampling of all of it. Within the humanities, arts, and cultural studies, we also have a lot of different ethnic and cultural studies, African American and African studies, Native American studies, women and gender studies, and professors who teach in those majors don't just teach in those specific classes. For example, my cultural anthropology class right now is being taught by a very well-known and respected women's studies professor. So the faculty and the students within our departments can intermix and kind of create an interdisciplinary education, which is great. And we also have a lot of fine and applied arts that we offer as well, a bunch of different art and art studio, art history that are very popular. We have many, I think a few different design and Native American art and a few other different types of art museums on campus, and one's currently being designed and built right now. And so we have kind of a very unique, comprehensive education in the College of Letters and Science. That is it. Oh, and the humanities, of course. That's where you get a lot of your different language majors and comparative literature, religious studies. We have a unique university writing program, which is not a major, but it is a minor that you can take. You can take a wide variety of these upper division university writing classes and then get a minor in professional writing, which is a very unique thing that we have in our college. And it's a great tool, especially if you're looking to get into the business world and show your proficiency in professional writing.
And I would just like to add, I think one of the best things about UC Davis is that you can kind of mix and match and dip into each one of our colleges. So I have a major my major is animal science, but I also have a minor in African American and African studies. So that's not in my college, but I'm able to do that because I can dip into all the other colleges and take different classes and get different minors. And I think that that's a really special thing that UC Davis has to offer, because you're not just restricted to your college or the majors in your college. You can pretty much do whatever you want.
I think a lot of people do that. I mean, yeah, I'm in biology, but my minor is in letters and sciences, and I know most people don't have their major, minor, or even like a double major within the same college. It's usually across the colleges, and it's really cool. We have the opportunity to do that here.
Okay, so it looks like we have a question about double majoring as well as minoring, and wondering, potential student would like to know if she or he would be able to double major with international relations and political sciences as well as minor in Middle Eastern studies. And that's a good question.
I think you definitely could. It would just kind of depend on how you worked your schedule around everything. So sometimes when you double major, a lot of the classes can overlap and they can count towards each other. It's harder if you were to say take a physics major or major within animal science major because those classes don't necessarily overlap, so it would take longer to complete both those requirements. But for the two that are listed, those would probably overlap, so it's possible. It just depends on how long you want to spend doing it. So you can get whatever you want to do. It's just if you want to graduate in 4 years or less, then you have to make sure that those classes all line up with each other.
Right. And one other thing on that is, so there are two very popular majors in the College of Letters and Science, and that is something that people do. With the overlap, because some classes might be so similar, you do have to be careful that not too many overlap. I believe you could have 20% of your upper division classes count in a double major. And so they're totally doable, even if some of your classes do overlap and it seems like there's too many. You just take extra courses so you don't have too much overlap. And depending on your comfort level of taking a heavy unit load or taking a summer session to make sure that minor fits in, or staying an extra quarter if that's something you really want to do, or taking a unit load if you strategically plan out from the beginning knowing those are what you want to do, you can do that in 4 years. And as you take these classes, you might learn, like, oh, like I thought I wanted to double major in this and this, but I liked political science, but maybe I want to minor in it instead, and maybe I want to major in this GE class that I thought it was just a GE and general education class, but I love. So come into it with an open mind. Plan your schedule around those things if that's something you really want to do, but make sure you keep an open mind and listen to what you actually enjoy as well as you learn in these classes.
And don't feel bad about staying longer than 4 years. I think when you come in, you think, oh, I want to do this and get out as fast as I can, but the more time you spend here, the more you think, oh, well, taking one more quarter isn't the end of the world, or taking 2 more quarters, I'm not going to delay the rest of my life if I want to take a couple more classes that I need to take or that I want to take.
Great, so we got another question. This is a really, really common question that a lot of people ask, and it's, as an undergrad, what should I major in if I want to go to medical school? The short answer is that there is none. There's no specific major that will give you an advantage to going to med school. When you're talking about going to med school, it's a certain set of requirements that you have to hit. So you have to take calculus, you have to take physics and chemistry, and those get laid out for you when you first come to Davis. We have a whole health science advising that will take care of that. But yes, a lot of pre-medical people are in the College of Biological Sciences. Our neurobiology, physiology, and behavior major really prepares students well for a medical career, as they have labs that have to do with surgeries and human physiology and things like that. But at the same time, other majors can prepare you just as well, and you'll have the same chance of admittance. For example, plant biology, which you would not think would be a medical career, I believe has a 100% med school admittance for every single year it's been on campus. So so coming back to your question, what should you major in if you want to go to med school? Whatever major you like the most. If you like art history the most, major in art history, and that enthusiasm will pay off, and it'll show when you want to go to med school.
So now I have a question that says, can I take Arabic as a minor if I've never taken an Arabic class before or I don't speak Arabic? Of course. We have introductory level classes in all of the different languages offered at Davis. And if you've never taken a class in it, then start with Arabic 1, and you'll learn. And a lot of students come in and want to learn a new language. That's not uncommon at all to start from the very beginning, and maybe you'll find out that that's something you really enjoy and want to major in or minor in.
Something else about language classes, sometimes large universities have this bad rap for having huge class sizes and very little time with professors or teaching assistants, and that's not the case. And especially with language classes, they're always in small classrooms. So I took a Spanish class with 15 other students, and it was just like being in a classroom where you actually can apply what you're learning and practice speaking with other students. So they're good, intimate classes to learn the language.
Okay, so we have another question. Do you have to choose a major before entering college? Also, how do you change majors while attending college? Sorry. So do you have to choose a major? You can come in undeclared if you would like to. We don't, just discriminate about that. We want you to come in undeclared if you don't really know what you want to do. If you do come in as a different major and you take an intro class and you think, oh God, I really hate this, I want to get out of this as fast as I can, that's fine. We do allow for that. We're not like other colleges where we make you wait 2 years in that major and taking those classes and you end up hating your entire college career because you haven't been in what you want to do. Whereas we let you change right away without many requirements as far as changing majors.
Engineering is a little bit different for the choosing a major and changing your major process. In the College of Engineering, you have to come in declared as a specific engineering major, but you can always change it. If you're changing to a different engineering major, it normally takes people about a year because we do have some class requirements before you can switch your major. But just because you're declared in one major doesn't mean you can't take classes towards a different major if you know that you want to switch.
We have an undeclared major as well in College of Letters and Science, and the way you change your major when you are on campus, if you either are undeclared or you know you want to change your major, is I suggest to go talk to your major advisors. The way we run advising at Davis is that we have dean's offices that have a lot of general advising, but then we have major advisors. So every major department has its own office, and if you go visit the major that you're in or the one you're considering changing to, and you have questions about how you do that and what classes you should take in order to switch as quickly as possible, what classes go well with each other, which ones are difficult and maybe you shouldn't take those two at the same time, that's a great resource to go visit your major department, and they can help you get along that process of changing your major.
So now we have a question that says, how does your college coursework compare to high school? So from what I found in the College of Engineering, at least, is that coursework here is a lot harder than it was in high school, and you have to be a lot more self-motivated. You know, sometimes the professor will give you recommended homework, but it's not graded and they don't collect it and no one checks to make sure you do it. So you have to, be on top of yourself and provide that self-motivation to do that homework so that you'll do well on the test. One thing that I always tell first-year students when I'm talking to them is that everyone that comes to Davis was at the top of their class in high school. So when you get here, don't feel like asking for help means that you're less than someone else, because everyone here needs to ask for help. I know definitely in engineering, we use office hours with our professors and our TAs all the time, and it's really important that you start that from the beginning. To start getting help working in groups, even if that's not what you were used to in high school.
Oftentimes the workload can also be more challenging in the sense that you have to balance it with a lot of other things, and it's not a traditional timeline or schedule that you have. So in high school you had approximately 16-week semester most likely. We're on the quarter system here, so as you're getting used to your classes and adjusting, you'll find yourself in the middle of midterms. So it is a quick turnaround, so you have to be prepared for that, and time management is very important. And knowing, okay, I need to set aside 2 hours to do these 80 pages of reading tonight, otherwise it's going to keep piling up and piling up. For a lot of the science classes, what I did is I took advantage of the Student Academic Success Center and the workshops and tutoring that we had, and that really helped with my transition into taking coursework here.
The coursework is definitely harder, but it's a lot different. So within the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, especially being an animal science major, my classes are completely different from high school. So I am out at one of the barns, either the dairy or the sheep barn or the goat barn, and I'm working one-on-one with the animals, learning from the managers, and running trials and doing everything like that. So in high school, where I just would have to read something out of a book, now I'm actually doing it hands-on experience. So it's harder for some classes, but with other classes it's better because you get to see right then and there what the problem is and diagnose it and learn about it, rather than having to go home and read it in a book. So it's different.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. It's something that you don't, the workload and just the classes in general aren't like the ones that you took in high school. It's stuff that you'd actually be doing possibly in your future career. And as she said, you know, you're going out to the barn, or you're going outside, and there's creativity, and there's more things that are, you know, intrinsic to you that come out in those assignments. So you might have more work, but it's work that you might actually enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question says, I wanna know more about GE classes. What are they? I'm an international student and I'm not familiar with this system. Do IB classes count towards some of your GE credits? So GE stands for General Education Classes, and this just helps us make sure that every student here is getting a well-rounded education. So if you're in the sciences, then you're also getting some classes in the arts and humanities and social sciences, or vice versa. IB classes and AP classes do not count towards GE credits or general education classes, but that doesn't mean that those units or courses go to waste. They still give you units, which helps you with your registration pass time. They can meet some requirements for lower division classes. They just don't specifically count for your general education system.
And some people seem to be, you know, adverse to GE class, and they think it's a kind of a burden to take them. That's actually not the case. They're actually really fun, and because you can take classes outside of what you're doing, you can find out that you have an interest in things and something you would have never realized. Like, you know, I'm a genetics major, but for part of my GE course, I took an anthropology class, and I found out how into it I was, and I can say that I enjoyed every single GE class that I took, and it was classes I wouldn't have taken if I had just been, you know, insular within my own college. So.
So we have a question about potentially majoring in computer science and also having an interest in writing, and whether or not you can take classes in these fields and if it would be stressful for your schedule. I don't think it would be, as long as you have an awareness that it is a workload that may or may not be difficult for you, and you manage your time and balance your schedule well. If you're interested in only writing or computer science, you probably wouldn't want to be taking just those courses at one time anyway. For example, taking 3 or 4 only computer science classes a quarter would be a lot. So if you have an interest in writing or in something else, that's a good thing, because you can balance your schedule well with it, and they would complement each other nicely.
And you can always count some of those extra classes towards your general education requirement. Within the general education system, everyone is required to take some classes that have a writing component. So even if you were taking your computer science classes, then those writing classes would still count for you for your graduation requirements.
And it's up to you as far as the classes you want to take. So if you just have an interest in writing, you don't have to take the upper division, super hard, you know, writing only specific classes. You can take more of the beginner general ones just to fulfill that interest, but not to be, you know, super stressed out at the same time.
So the next question is, has it been difficult for you to get your classes?
I think we can go down the line with this one. I'll start. I personally have not had a difficult time with this. Whenever I register for classes, because there's so many animal science students specifically, we're all trying to take the same classes. And the teachers and professors know that. So they're always trying to open up more spots in classes to, you know, let us into those classes and get us on the schedule, because certain classes are only offered, especially in my college, certain quarters, so you want to make sure that you're taking them on a schedule to kind of keep up with yourself. And so I've never had, you know, difficulties getting classes. I waitlisted one class because I wasn't able to enroll in it right away, and I got accepted into the class. So I personally have never had a difficulty getting a class.
Yeah, I have never had very much difficulty getting into my classes either. In the College of Engineering, you need to take a lot of classes to meet your graduation requirements. Some of our majors, just the major required classes, meet the total units for graduation requirements. And a lot of them are series classes, need to go in a specific order, things like that. So the college as a whole tries really hard to get people into the classes that they need in the quarter that they need them. Probably the hardest one your first year is going to be chemistry, just because a lot of majors need to take chemistry and we only have so much lab space. But in general, for my engineering classes, I haven't had a problem getting into those. They try really hard. Even if the class fills up, they try to maybe move it to a different room so that they can open up more spots or add a second professor so that there can be 2 sections of the class.
And those general courses like chemistry and biology, all students. So students from College of Ag and Environmental Sciences, students from Letters and Sciences, Biological Sciences. Every college pretty much has students that take those classes, and so those professors know they have to have a lot of available slots for students.
I know that my freshman year, I got into chemistry, but there was some discourse in getting into the first chemistry class, and they normally didn't offer chemistry the first quarter 2A in the spring, but because there was a demand for it, the school listened and they opened up sections in spring for Chem 2A and adjusted so that everyone was able to get into it their first year. And so if there's a need, you're not, like, if you don't get in the first time, it's not a big deal. You can get into it the next quarter, and the school listens and will adjust to make sure that students are getting in. Nobody wants students not to get into their classes, because that just doesn't make the university run. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, the school will adjust to make sure that you can take those classes. But I think what it comes down to is, you know, Davis is incredible in that it offers just such a variety of classes, and if you're flexible with your schedule, so let's say one quarter, even if the school did everything they could and you couldn't take chemistry, have a backup, have calculus, take a GE class. As long as you're flexible, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. You'll never, it's not like you're ever going to be kept out of a major because you can't get a class. That just won't happen.
And some majors have a lot of units to graduate, and some majors have a lot smaller units to graduate. But ultimately, every student needs to graduate completing at least 180 units with their major requirements done and their general education classes done. And some students will have no problem filling that up with their major in GEs, and some may need to add a major or a minor or just take some extra classes. And so if you don't get into the class you need right away, then start working towards chipping away at that 180 units.
So we have a question. So how much will, and this is similar to another question we got before, but how much will taking AP classes help you out in college? And it does help. One, it gives you a better experience of what the college course load is going to be like. AP classes try to assign homework that will put you on a schedule that you should be following in college. And then along the lines of requirements and stuff, I took AP History, which got me out of the history requirement, or I took AP English, which got me out of the lower division English requirement. And some people can use their AP Math scores to get out of a math class depending on your major. So it is helpful. If you can take AP classes in high school, or you did, that is a very, very good thing.
Even the classes that I wasn't able to pass out of, I still felt more prepared because I had taken those AP classes out of the background. So taking calculus, I took AP calculus in high school, and then I still needed to take another class of it when I got to Davis. But had I not had that backbone of having that high school class and a year-long class of calculus, I wouldn't have been as prepared for a quarter, so like very rigorous quarter at Davis. So it was a benefit, even if you don't use it to pass you out of something on your transcript. Like, just having that is a really helpful edge.
Yeah, I know, especially taking AP Calculus and AP Physics for me in engineering was really helpful. Even though they start from step 1 in those classes, assuming that you've had no calculus experience or no physics experience, it's really nice to have that background so that you don't fall behind. You kind of know what to expect. So, maybe instead of having to learn 100% of the material right from the beginning, maybe you already know half of the material. Especially that first calculus class in your fall quarter when you're still getting ready to the quarter system. Then it's really nice to have that background so you're not just like blindsided by calculus in the first quarter. Okay, so we have another question that says, when do you register for classes? How can you be one of the first ones to register?
I know.
Okay, so class registration is when you come to Davis, you will most likely attend an orientation session, and that's where you'll get a lot of your instruction on how to work the system. We have a system, and it generates pass times, which are your registration times, and at that time, you'll log on your computer onto our website, and that's when we have these course numbers, and these course numbers, you type them in, and they'll register you in a class. These pass times, registration times, are generated by, I believe, the number of units.
Yeah.
So, for example, that's where your AP units will come in, even though they're not helping with your GE. Say you took 20 AP units, that helps you so much in your pass time. So, passing those APs is a great thing because those will help boost your pass time a little bit. And then, as you take classes throughout, that's you'll be pushed farther and farther ahead in the registration time. So, by the time you're a senior, you'll be one of the first people to register. And that's why the seniors with these upper division courses that are harder to get, they'll start and then you go down through the line in that way. No,
Yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah.
There's kind of an add-on question here that if you come to the earliest orientation this summer, do you have a better chance of getting into the classes that you want to take? So for orientation, they block off classes for each one of the sections. So especially classes a lot of people need to take, like the different calculus series or the chemistry, things like that, or popular GE classes, then they block off, oh, we're going to have this many seats for week 1, and then we're going to have that same number of seats for week 2, and the same number of seats for week 3. So coming to an earlier orientation doesn't mean that you have a better chance of getting your classes. What helps is if you pull the right straw and get to go first within your week, is what matters at orientation, not necessarily which week you come. So the next question is, have any of you been involved in research? So personally, I work in a research lab right now. I work in the Human Robotics Vehicles Integration and Performance Lab. And we're doing a lot of different things related to space and keeping people safe in dangerous environments. All of them are related to aeronautics or astronautics in some way. Personally, I've been helping a graduate student build a head-mounted display. So I have been, which is kind of like a virtual reality helmet. So I have been designing the optics for that system. And what was really nice about this project for me was that I didn't know anything about optics coming into this project. So I've really been able to start from like step 1 and learn a lot about optics and then be able to apply it to a real world problem.
Yeah, I've also been involved in research. Last summer, I kind of had my first dose of it. I worked on a dairy cow research trial through the Veterinary Medicine Teaching and Research Center down in Tulare, California. And so we studied the effects of stress on the dairy cows and how it affects their mitochondria activity and then how that then affects their milk production. So that was really fun for me because I kind of got to see the research side of it. I'm currently applying for a research position for this summer that deals with dairy calves and colostrum and how all of that works. One of the, I think, really strong suits of the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences is that all of our professors are currently doing research in different fields and they want to have students help them with it. So, you know, students can come into Davis and find out what they're passionate about and then get into the research side of it super easily. It's not like our professors are trying to turn students away or hide their research from everyone. They tell us about it in their classes. They advertise it about it. They want you guys to get involved with research.
Something that's, I think, a false stereotype is that only hard science majors are really involved in research. And so I'm a psychology major, and I do have some science background, but not a significant one. And so I always had thought, oh, I can't get involved in research because I don't have that, like, intense laboratory background, but what you'll find is that there are opportunities of research in every field, and it might be a different kind of research and what you might see in it, but you will find some kind of research in the field that you're interested in. I interned and did research in an autism lab at the Mind Institute in Sacramento, and that's not something that I would have thought I would have been able to have an opportunity to do because I wasn't a hard science major, but I was able to get involved, and it was a really rewarding experience.
Yeah. Right before we go into the next question, I'll just add that I've been really passionate about research all of my 4 years of being at Davis. I've been interested in forensic science. I've presented at the National Undergraduate Research Conference. The nice thing about Davis is, as one of you guys mentioned, the professors do really want you to do research with them, and a lot of people think it's intimidating or something. I just told my professor I was really interested in something that she brought up, and that ended up with me getting a lab position for 3 years. Professors, they really like having students in there, and professors realize that students can contribute something very significant to their laboratories and research.
Really, all you have to do is ask, and almost every professor will say, yes, please come to my lab.
Yeah, and you brought up a really good point about the undergraduate research conference that happens every year. Students are able to take the research that they do and actually present about it and present it in front of different people, and so that's a great way to get yourself out there and to show what you've been working on, as well as network with other people too. And I know not a lot of schools have that, so it's a great way to take this research and just kind of make something of yourself while you're in college. So you don't even have to wait until you get out and you get a job maybe. You can do it while you're here.
Now I have a question that says, have any of you changed your major or added on a major or minor, and how was this transition? So personally, I started as aerospace engineering, and during my sophomore year, I added on mechanical engineering. And this was a really easy transition for me, just because aerospace and mechanical engineering are in the same department within the College of Engineering, and a lot of my classes overlapped and count for both, so it really wasn't too many extra classes that I had to add on, but that was because I chose two majors that were really similar to each other.
I added an education minor, and so that's kind of a unique one because we don't have an education major. That's not something you can major in at Davis. But we have
education, environmental education, but
a straight education major we don't have. And so, but we do have a school of education, which is a graduate school where you can get your teaching credential and master's or PhD, depending on what level you wanted to do. And so they have a minor program in which you can take classes with professors from the School of Education and have internships in the schools, which is required for the minor as well.
But in general, it's a pretty easy process to change your major or add on another major or a minor. Really, all it takes is meeting any of the requirements that major might have. Some of our majors have a few classes that you have to take before they'll accept you into the major, but for the most part, it's just filling out some paperwork and getting a few signatures. So it's really not a hard process at all to either add a major or change it. So there's a question that says, how do you balance research with studying your courses?
I guess that could be how do you balance research or extracurriculars or anything?
Yeah.
Really anything. And I would suggest that I think that my first year I didn't get super involved in things from the get-go, which I do regret, but I did eventually start adding things. But if you want to make sure you keep maintaining that balance, if you want to get involved in something, maybe pick one thing initially and then see how it goes with your coursework, and then manage your time well. And if you get interested in something else, see if you can add something else on. If you're worried about how you're not going to have enough time to do well in your courses with the things you're involved in, prioritize. If being on, student government is super important to you, then maybe take a summer session so you can get a class out of the way so you have time during the school year to do things you like as well.
Yeah, and I think, just kind of going off of that again, the people that you work with know that you're students. And so, your bosses and whoever, if you're working under a professor, they know that you're students first. So they want to work with you and work around your class schedule, and they're not going to make you work, 20 to 40-hour weeks. That's crazy, and they know it, and so they're really willing to work with you, work around your class schedule, because ultimately classes come first. You know, extracurriculars are just things that you do for fun and to, you know, help yourself, but classes do come first, and so your professors and whoever is working with you, they want to make sure that you accommodate those.
Oh yeah, and I'd say in every, like, I know for me, every extracurricular research I've done has only like enriched my courses. Like, I mean, doing research and then going into a class that's relevant, you already know a lot of the stuff that you're covering, and you feel confident. You feel like you can approach the professor easily and stuff. So I've definitely liked everything I've done. So so what's your favorite part of your major? For me personally, I really like that it's at Davis, especially for genetics. Davis has had a lot to do with pioneering the entire field, like not only for biology but genetics as a whole. And so I feel like when I'm learning, I like when I'm in class learning something and I know that it was discovered in some part or in whole due to where I am, or I was a teacher that did something that I read about on the news. And that's something that always really excites me and makes me really feel lucky that I go here.
So I'm a psychology major, and psych is an incredibly broad field, which initially can be frustrating because you're taking classes that are just so comprehensive over so many things. It can be frustrating because you're like, there's too much information about too wide of a spread. But as you take classes, you'll find, oh, I don't really enjoy that aspect of the field as much, but I'm really passionate about this. And you can start taking classes because in that area more and kind of develop that particular area more and for example, love health psychology and mind-body wellness, and I've taken a lot of classes in that and have been involved in a lot of things on campus that surround that, and that has probably been my favorite part, is kind of discovering what it is I do and I don't enjoy the most.
So I think my favorite part of the College of Engineering in general is sort of the collaborative environment that the college as a whole and the professors and the students promote. I know several of the majors have study spaces that have computers and large workstations, and I know I spend almost all of my time there, my study time there. So between classes, then like you go to this, we call ours the CAE, and we'll go into there, there's big work tables, and probably half of my class is in there. And we're all working on homework together, working on projects together, writing code, and you know, if you get stuck on question 2, then there's probably 4 or 5 other people in the room that are also working on question 2 that can help you out. And that's really great, not just among students, but the collaboration with students and professors. I know I talk to my professors all the time. They know all of our first names. A lot of my professors know all of the first names of the students in their classes, especially in my upper division classes. I can stop them in the hall and ask them questions. They help us with things that are maybe not just related to class, like asking them about graduate school or how to get involved in research, anything like that. So it's really, you get really close to all of your professors and the other students, which is really, really nice in working through the classes in engineering.
So, and then I'll just finish it up. So being in the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, like I said before, we're #1 in the world right now for agricultural studies, and so being an animal science major, I'm in that group, and I'm really proud of that we are #1. And I think a large factor that makes us #1 right now is because we are so hands-on here at UC Davis, and that's probably my favorite part about being an animal science major, is that I have so many hands-on opportunities to work with animals and to really, you know, get very passionate about it. Right now I'm currently working at our dairy that's on campus. I work there 6 hours a week, and I wish I could be there every day, all day, doing that, because I have so much hands-on experience working with cows and calves and heifers and everything like that, and really learning from the manager, whether it's vaccinating or ear tagging or, you know, diagnosing the herd or watching for anything. I really learned so much, and I love that it's so hands-on. So I think that's the best part about being an animal science major. So thank you guys for listening to our presentation. Go to Davis.
Yeah.
Welcome, Aggies.